Brazil, the largest country in South America, known around the world for its diversity, incomparable natural beauty, exotic rivers, magnificent waterfall of Iguaçu, marvelous beaches that attract thousands of tourists every year, and the spectacular swamps of Mato Grosso. Rare birds and a fascinating variety of tropical animals form an orchestra of natural life. Scientists have reported that the exact number of species of both fish and aquatic plants is impossible to number. A large part of these natural wonders can be found in the region of the Amazon. The Amazon River is known not only for its size, this river captures our attention because it is the home of the legendary pink dolphin. The enormous lily pads, as well as the impressive meeting of the waters. The Rio Negro with its black water and the Solimões with its brown, muddy water flows side by side for many miles without mixing. Once these two great rivers meet, they are collectively known as the Amazon. There are also people living along the banks of the river known as the Ribeirinhos. These people live in the same way as their ancestors did a century ago, depending on fish as a way of living, generally residing in stilted huts. Because of their remote location and limited access to civilization, more than 40% of this population is illiterate. The majority do not have access to medical nor dental care, and many of them have never seen a Bible. In the 1930s, these people's needs were not all that different from today. At that time, the mortality rate was very high. Out of every 10 children born, 6 would die to a lack of medical assistance. It was in the midst of this battle against such misery, starvation, sickness, and hopelessness that a tiny light began to shine on the Amazon horizon. At the start of the 1930s, through a North American engineer named Leo Hallowell and his wife Jessie, a nurse, this first light of salvation began to reach the rivers of the Amazon.
A história da Igreja Adventista do Sétimo Dia no Amazonas se confunde com a história...
The Seventh-day Adventist Church in the Amazon is easily confused with the story of Leo and Jessie Hallowell. In 1931, the first Luzeiro boat was inaugurated, the Luzeiro 1, and since then, many other boats were constructed. From the very moment that these boats began to sail the Amazon River, they began doing a marvelous work. A true medical missionary work began.
A verdadeira obra médico-missionária se instalou a partir daí.
Lembro-me, logo que me batizei, 46.
I remember, right after I was baptized in 1946, a malaria epidemic broke out. Among our very people, some came down with this sickness, and we began to say, "Has the Luzeiro arrived to the port?" Just wait until the Luzeiro arrives, and Pastor Hallowell sees the sick people. He was very longed for and cared for, even by the people who lived in Manaus, but mostly those of us along the rivers. When the Luzeiro would arrive into the interior and pull up to the village port, there would always be many people there waiting and saying, "Oh, the Luzeiro has arrived." I remember this well. The Luzeiro was highly desired by those people because the need was so great.
Today we are here and had the opportunity to hear the truth because of this work which started in 1931. The Seventh-day Adventist Church had these boats that provided assistance, which the government did not have. Sadly, the light went out as the project closed, leaving thousands of river dwellers in the dark. The loss of the Luzeiro was a huge blow, extremely sad to all. May God forgive those who stopped this work, which should even today be going forward. However, Jesus is coming back and his work must be finished. Heeding the call of the Master and moved by the Holy Spirit, an army of volunteers has revived the Luzeiro program, taking physical and spiritual healing once again to the river dwellers of the Amazon. Do medical missionary work, thus you will gain access to the hearts of the people. The way will be prepared for more decided proclamation of truth. You will find that relieving their physical suffering gives an opportunity to minister to their spiritual needs. Evangelism, page 514. The desire to help be a part of restarting the Luzeiro program in the Amazon came to my wife and I while we were living in Bolivia, serving as missionaries in 2004. Stepping forward by faith, believing, taking hold of the promises that Jesus had given to the 12 disciples to go into all the world, preaching the gospel. Jesus sent the 12 disciples forward with nothing, with no funding, and asked them in the upper room, "What did you lack?" And they said, "Nothing." We begin to see that God was going to do the same for this program to get restarted. Before leaving, we received a phone call from an Adventist man in California, whereupon he donated a 52-foot catamaran for us to bring to Manaus and be the first boat to restart the Luzeiro program. And in November of 2007, we arrived to Brazil on fire with complete certainty that this is where God wanted us, that this is where God wanted us to serve. We arrived here filled with anxiety of what we would do, and God began showing us that He was calling and preparing other people, professionals, local, Brazilian, doctor, nurses, attorney, Bible workers, to join together to make a team to restart the Luzeiro program, to take the gospel, to take the love of Jesus into the interior here on the Amazon.